Hacking is hard. At least for me it is. And yet it has been something that I've wanted to learn how to do since the very beginning of my cybersecurity journey. I really wanted to study and get the OSCP or even the Cyber Mentor's PNPT as an alternative. And I wanted to become a full-time hacker. I felt like all the cool people on cybersecurity Twitter and all the cool people on YouTube in the cybersecurity niche are all hackers. And I felt like I couldn't succeed in this industry or earn a place in this field if I did not become one of them. Well, in this video, I'm going to share how my hacking journey went, from the highs to the lows, where I went to learn how to hack, and then some advice that I have for people that are currently trying to learn how to hack. The first thing that I learned while I was learning how to hack, and this is really a revolution to me in learning about, learning, was learning that gamified learning is actually pretty key and a great way to actually pick up new things. Some people learn pretty well from PowerPoints or lectures and stuff like that, and frankly, that's just not me. A lot of people, myself included, learn best from practicing and doing, and gamified learning can really help you do that and feel like you're doing it for a purpose. And whenever it comes to hacking, being able to do this is actually fairly easy. All you really have to do is set up a home lab with a Kali Linux VM, download a vulnerable machine, and start hacking away. And that is exactly what I did to start off. You can learn by doing fairly easy. All you have to do is set up a home lab using VirtualBox or VMware, get a Kali Linux machine, and then download a deliberately vulnerable machine from a site like VulnHub, and then you can start hacking away. And that's exactly what I did to start off. I set up my home lab in VirtualBox, I downloaded my Kali VM, I started downloading virtual machines from VulnHub, and I simply started going after it. And VulnHub is a great place to start learning how to hack, especially whenever you're a bit further along in your journey and you know what to do as you're practicing through these boxes. In fact, some folks will create entire series of vulnerable machines that you can work through to teach either different methodologies or attack chains or things like that. And most importantly, it's a fantastic way to learn how to hack in an offline, secure environment. There's just one problem, and frankly, this might just be a me problem. I tend to gain more motivation either whenever there's some kind of competitive element introduced, or whenever I have an idea on what the grand picture, the desired end state is. In this case, whenever I was starting off and I was just working through VMs on my own home lab, I had neither one of these. I was the only one hacking these machines in my home lab, and I was just doing it because I felt like I wanted to learn, but not because I was working towards some sort of like deadline of understanding something or deadline of reaching some sort of aptitude level. At the time, I was still early in my college career, and I was continuously told that I wasn't going to get a penetration testing job right out of college. Instead, I was going to have to focus on something more in the cyber defense realm. So for the time that I spent learning how to hack, I felt like I really should have been spending learning how to do defensive things. And frankly, after a very short amount of time, I lost all motivation and gave up. Fast forward some time, and then I decided I wanted to pick it back up and get back after it. And this is whenever I really started to dig into two sites that really, for me, changed the game. And they changed the game by becoming a game. And they did so by gamifying learning. So what is gamified learning? This is where you are tethering your learning experience to a competitive or a gamified environment. So you're basically attaching things like experience points and other kinds of elements like prizes and user levels and stuff like that to add some sort of level of competition and accomplishment as you're learning your way through different modules. It's similar to how people drop tons of hours on Call of Duty. They're not necessarily doing it just because they enjoy it, although that is certainly one thing that they tend to do. They're also doing it because they feel a sense of accomplishment. They're getting that dopamine hit from getting loot boxes or prizes or things like that as they continue to play the game. And that rewards the player to continue to play the game further. This is kind of the same approach that gamified learning takes, where instead of playing a video game, you're actually learning your way through something. It's basically just rewarding your learning with dopamine. The two sites that did this for me the most was TryHackMe and HackTheBox. Both of these sites, to varying degrees, really helped revolutionize my perspective not only on the cybersecurity industry, but how I was learning how to hack. And I wanted to spend more time on these sites so I could continue to grow my user profile and improve my standing on the leaderboard. In the case of TryHackMe, you can actually see where you rank up specifically compared to the hundreds of thousands and now today over 1 million users that are on the platform today. On social media, on cybersecurity Twitter, I would see people posting that they had cracked the top 10%, cracked the top 1%, cracked the top 100 on the site, and they had these crazy streaks of learning that they had where every day they were logging in. I would see those posts and want to do that for myself because I'm competitive. So I I put my head down and I went at it. I learned everything. I went after even going back through some of the more basic fundamental learning courses so that way I could really kind of fill in any of the holes that I had missed through school, and then prepare myself and go through some of the more other learning paths like the offensive security, the penetration testing paths, some cyber defense modules, and things like that. And TryHackMe covers everything from cyber defense to cyber offense. So I was really getting more of a holistic approach to cybersecurity. I was really scratching both itches. I was able to learn more about defense, but also continue on my hacking journey. And somewhere along the way, this is where I learned my next most important lesson: pace yourself. Through my more intense stretch, I would spend several hours a day practicing. Not only was I doing that, I was making content for this channel. I have a full-time job, and then I have a couple other side obligations, some of which definitely do take a considerable amount of time each month. And it did not take long at all for me to burn out again. And whenever I burnt out this time, the reminder that I was not going to get a penetration testing job came right back to me. That 1-2 punch took the wind completely out of my sails. Fortunately though, I did break the top 1%, so I mean, you know, it's the little things. During this stretch, I also spent a significant amount of time on Hack the Box. And while I was not hitting the leaderboard accolades like I was hitting on TryHackMe over on Hack the Box, I was no doubt learning a ton. Where TryHackMe will combine more of the concepts and the practice for both offense and defense, Hack the Box really just puts you in the same lab as a vulnerable machine, and it doesn't hold your hand at all. It basically just lets you go about it however you would. And it gamifies this in a similar way to TryHackMe by giving you experience, but in also displaying the names of whichever user is able to both get a foothold on the machine first and gain root on the machine first. Now, I definitely did not get anywhere close to this level of success or, you know, user prestige on Hack the Box as I did on TryHackMe, but I definitely learned a lot more on my hacking journey on Hack the Box. The amount of times that I would end up going down some crazy wormhole trying to learn something about a tool or what I thought was the correct exploit for a machine, and literally spend hours doing so whenever that was the wrong rabbit hole, only for me to pull up a walkthrough that made the whole machine look super easy. It became very frustrating very quickly, and it was a hugely humbling experience. I would literally spend hours just staring at the screen, racking my brain, getting crazy headaches trying to figure out how exactly to get a foothold or escalate privileges on a machine, and have no idea how to do it, only to Google a walkthrough that literally it used a tool that apparently everybody knew about and reminded me that the box was rated easy, it was not rated hard, and here I was having a very difficult experience with it. It was painful, but if I did not spend the time suffering through that, maybe I wouldn't have learned as much about hacking as I did. Now today I am absolutely by no means good at hacking. In fact, if you were to put me in a CTF, I'd probably score somewhere along the last place. Frankly, I personally don't even enjoy the technical side of cybersecurity as a lot of people do. My brain's more wired for the policy, risk, and governance side of cybersecurity, or even the intelligence side. That said, I wouldn't have really come to terms with that fact if I didn't put myself in the middle of one of the most technically challenging sides of the industry for an amount of time and try to apply myself and learn it. And I wouldn't have been able to identify that maybe I don't want to become a penetration tester because I just don't enjoy it in practice as much as I thought I would. And I don't know if it's just me, it's just I feel like my brain isn't really wired for the technical side as much as it is for the policy side. I really feel like I have to really dig in and rack my brain and put a lot of mental energy into the technical side, whereas the policy, risk, and intelligence side really just kind of comes naturally. Another benefit of embarking on this hacking journey and learning what I did is that I have learned a lot about the industry as a whole, and that has benefited me on the defensive side of security. From working my full-time job to content creation, I feel like I'm able to digest information in a way that is really more realistic and relevant, and allows me to kind of understand what the attacker may be doing and anticipate what might be coming next. And especially for this channel, being able to read different articles and reports, understand what's going on, and then interpret it back to you. The insight that you can get in learning how to hack will really be incredibly valuable to you regardless of where you fall in within security. So if I were to restart my hacking journey today, I would have focused much less on where others stack up compared to me, because frankly that does not matter. And it would be hard for me because again, I am kind of a competitive person. I want to better myself and I want to see where other people are and try to compete. That being said, whenever you're dealing with subject matter like this that is much more intense and incredibly dense, and whenever they're able to seemingly learn this stuff much faster than you, it's just a great way to burn yourself out really, really quickly. It got really easy for me to feel like disheartened or dejected or feel like I'm just not gonna make it, and then that would expand out to the entire industry, where I felt like I didn't deserve a place in this industry. I did not deserve to be on social media. Shit, why am I making cybersecurity content if I can't be one of the elite hackers that you see online? That imposter syndrome really sucks. And it's still something that I deal with today. But here's the truth. Learning takes time, and sometimes it takes a lot of time. And if you're trying to learn to hack, it might take you more time to learn it if you're like me. Another thing that I would have done differently is inviting others to join me along the way. I didn't actually even join a learning group that had other people that were in a similar phase to me learning how to hack until really the end of my hacking journey, or at least towards the point of whenever the wind was getting taken out of my sails. And by that point, the writing was on the wall and I was pretty much burnt out already. When you work with other people, you're able to gain their insights, learn from them, give each other help and nudges along the way. And that can really help you avoid those hours-long rabbit holes that I was putting myself through. But the number one advice that I have is to just do it. Embark on the journey and learn whatever you can. Even if you're only interested in the defensive side of security, being able to be at least familiar with the vocabulary, the tools, techniques, procedures, the capabilities that hackers really have, and being able to discern what is realistic and what is fantasy in this industry can be a game changer. And that really helps you with responding to incidents or leading a team or being able to identify risk within an organization. It also gives you a great level of appreciation for some of the great YouTubers out there like IPSec or Hackersploit or Jake, Rana Khalil, the Cyber Mentor, or even John Hammond. And there's just so many of them. I can't even list them off in this video. It would be an hour long. But they are able to do all of that and share that in plain English with others on YouTube for free. And that's pretty incredible. So I'm glad that I spent the time embarking on my hacker journey, even if it really only led me to understand that maybe that's not something I really want to be doing. And also, even if it did not have the storybook ending like what you would typically find on social media. One of the most challenging elements to this whole thing has been the understanding of my own limitations. Again, it is incredibly easy to get imposter syndrome in this industry. And for me, the bulk of my imposter syndrome actually came from my hacking journey and the feelings of inadequacy that came from just the frustrations I was having with picking up the material, the hard time I was having with it, and really just the overall feeling that if I can't get this down, then I don't deserve to be here. And part of coming to terms with all of this and really accepting it is in making this video. One of the cool things that I did get out of this experience was not only the chance of learning new things, but the chance to meet other people. And one of the amazing people that I got to meet early on was TheXSSRat. He also makes cybersecurity content. He focuses on bug bounty hunting and web application penetration testing. And he was one of the first cybersecurity creators that I got to interview on this channel. One of the other cool things that he's doing right now is creating hackerats.com, which is the sponsor of this video. Now, we talked about gamified learning with Try Hack Me and Hack the Box, but he's creating another gamified site called hackerats.com where you can learn more about web application penetration testing and more in a really unique and interesting way. It's kind of like you're creating a character, you're fighting different monsters and getting different loot, but you're doing so by testing your knowledge and skill in web application penetration testing, which is not something that Try Hack Me or Hack the Box or really any of the other sites that I've seen so far do. It kind of weaves like a story to your learning experience, which is very interesting. And of course, there is cheese involved, which, hey, I love cheese. You can join the site. There's a link down in the video description and you can defeat enemies and get really cool prizes. So absolutely check that out. In addition to hackerats.com, and if you really want to start your journey in bug bounty hunting or web app pen testing or even some other forms of hacking, then you can check out TheXSSRat's online courses, and there's an affiliate link down below for those as well. I've tried some of these courses. I've seen the way that TheXSSRat teaches, and he is an excellent teacher. He's really good at, not only translating all of this to plain English and in human speak, but he's also one of the best in the field. He's really somebody that you really want to learn from. So definitely check those courses out. There's a ton of stuff down there, and get your journey started today. So after you do that, definitely check out one of these two videos on Try Hack Me or Hack the Box if you're wanting to learn more about those sites as well. And if you're just starting, of course, I recommend TheXSSRat, but I also recommend starting with Try Hack Me before jumping to Hack the Box, again, if you're just starting. Like this video and comment with your experience on your hacking journey, and I will see you all next time. Bye.